Finally back with another video. I know it's been a while. We're going back to 1983 this time. Senior Kiss took their makeup off. On TV, we said goodbye to MASH, and by the end of the year, we were terrified of nuclear war with the day after. Our phones were still stuck to the wall of our kitchen, and we all thought we'd be Jedis by now. 1983. I'm Chris. This is Late Night Dead Wax. These are my favorite records from 1983. This has been dwindled down from quite a large number. It wasn't easy. There were a lot of great records in 1983. And this is 100%, as always, just my opinion. These are just the ones I love. I'm sure there's some I missed. I'm sure there's some that you love that maybe I'm not crazy about and didn't end up on my list. But at the end of the day, just my opinion. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not doing them in any specific order. This isn't like a countdown. I'm going to do them in the order that they were released. So, here we go. Kicking things off with one that's really important to me. I absolutely love this record. Def Leppard, Pyromania. It was their third release. Probably the one that broke them huge, especially in America. 4 hits, Photograph, Fool In, Rock of Ages, and Too Late for Love. Just an absolute banger of an album. The whole thing, I mean, it sounds like an early Def Leppard greatest hits. My copy's a first U.S. press, and I think it's awesome. Sticking in that genre, the next one up came at the end of February 28th. 1983, we have Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Mine is an early reissue. It's got the hype sticker and everything. This was technically the third release from Quiet Riot, although the first 2 were a slightly different lineup, only released over in Japan. This was the classic lineup. This was the first metal record to hit #1 in the U.S. Billboard. And Come On Feel the Noise and Mental Health, just absolute impossible songs to avoid in 1983. I have distinct memories of riding the school bus and Come On Feel the Noise coming on and us all just singing along. It was awesome. And it is a great record. Next up into March 7th, we got Kix giving us Cool Kids. This was a great record that I didn't discover until after Blow My Fuse came out. That's when I just kind of went back through and listened to all the Kix. They're sort of a regional act for us. They're out of Maryland, not too far from here, and I got to see them. Me and my sister Jamie had probably seen them 20 times, at least, just together. And they were a great band that just retired last year. We were at their final show in York, PA, and it was just awesome. And mine is a first pressing. This was their second record, and it had the single Body Talk. On April 14th, we got David Bowie, Let's Dance. This was very much 80s Bowie. Awesome record. I love this record. As a kid, I had the cassette. Now, this is a U.S. first press. The reason that I bought this, not because I don't like the record, because I do. I love the record. But the big reason I went in search of this one, especially this pressing, was Frank from Channel 33 RPM was talking about how his copy, a Canadian first pressing, was a great sounding record, one of the best in his collection. And I mean, there's nothing special about it. It's not MoFi. It's not anything that is listed as audiophile, but wow, it does sound good. And they're pretty cheap. You can still pick them up for pretty cheap. This is a great album. Men at Work on April 29th gave us the album Cargo. This was their second album. Mine is the first U.S. pressing. This was their second of only 3. they had massive success, especially with the first two records, and this being the second one. Two hits with Overkill and It's a Mistake. Overkill is just such a well-written song, and if you ever have a chance to hear the acoustic version, um, it's just great. But this album, not only is it a good record, it sounds good too. You can still pick them up fairly cheap. It's one that should be in your collection. Next, we have my only jazz record on this collection. I got into jazz way late, like as in just a couple of years ago. But this album was released in April of 1983, and this was an incredible jazz fusion record. It featured John Scofield on guitar, and Miles was just, I mean, once again, changing jazz. And this is an incredible record. Mine's an early reissue. It A lot of people don't consider it one of his best, but I am a big fan of anything Miles does, and this was a good one. This in my opinion, I really dig this one, and this was after a 6-year hiatus, so this was kind of a comeback. It's another heavier record, Dio Holy Diver. This came out May 25th. It was the first Ronnie James Dio project to kind of feature his name. This was his most successful venture under Dio. It was Holy Diver and Last in Line were just absolute epic albums with Vivian Campbell on guitar. Really good stuff. Had the song Holy Diver and the massive hit Rainbow in the Dark. My copy is actually a German pressing. I got a really good deal on it because, and I've talked about this before, no sleeve. So this is just a computer printout, just so I know what record's in there. Can't play the sleeve. 1983 also saw the end of the Police. This was their fifth and final record, Synchronicity. It came out in June 17th. Mine is a first press in the BRY variant. They all had different color. There were several different color schemes where the colors went in different order. Some of them are on this beautiful, I'm sure you won't be able to see it, but the wax is translucent. The vinyl record, you can actually, if you hold it up to the light, it looks purple or brown. Mine's purple. I'm not sure if there's a difference, but apparently that was from some really high quality vinyl pellets, I guess they used when they pressed it. It does. It sounds absolutely amazing. This is not my original copy from when I was a kid, but I picked this one up as soon as I started collecting again because it is a great record. It has Every Breath You Take, Wrapped Around Your Finger, and King of Pain. And like I said, unfortunately, this was the fifth and final record from the Police. July 25th, 1983 brought us Metallica, Kill 'Em All. This was their debut record. My copy is a 2016 Walmart reissue. It sounds great. It really does. It's not the album that I got introduced to Metallica from. Like a lot of people, when Master of Puppets came out, that's kind of when it broke for all of us kids that were looking for something a little heavier. And I distinctly remember a friend of mine put Master of Puppets on one side and Europe, the Final Countdown, on the other side of a 90-minute cassette. I'll never forget that. I wore that cassette out playing both sides. But that was my introduction to Metallica, and went back and obviously got Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All, which is one of my favorite records from 1983. And of course, 1983 would be nothing without Madonna. She gave us her debut album, Madonna. This came out on the 27th of July, 1983. Lucky Star, Borderline, Holiday. This was just a huge record, and so like influential on so many teenage girls who wanted to dress like Madonna. You're probably wondering, this does not look like the Madonna record. My copy is actually a French reissue. Um, it I picked it up at a record show and I thought it was super cool because it was different, but it is the exact same record except for a French pressing and has a different cover. So, Madonna. Now, if there's one thing I can absolutely promise you, as I do this video series where I pick years and pick my favorite albums from those years, if there was a Joan Jett release, it will be on that list somewhere. And 1983 is no exception. We got Joan Jett and the Blackhearts album, just called album. Mine is a first press. It had Fake Friends and Everyday People were the two singles off of it. I know that it was released in July. I couldn't find an exact date, but it is the iconic cover of her jumping with her guitar, and anything Joan Jett's great. So this is no exception. It may seem like there's a lot of harder rock or metal on this list. That's kind of the stuff that I really was into, especially back then. And 83 was a big year for a lot of introductions, and another one was Queensryche. In August 12th, we got the 4-song EP. This was the first record from Queensryche. It was kind of the introduction to prog metal. It was pretty good stuff. These guys came out of nowhere from Seattle. I knew nothing about them. When Operation Mindcrime dropped, I could not get enough of them. So I went back and I bought all of the Warning, Rage for Order, and the 4-song EP. This, I mean, from the first scream on Queen of the Reich, it's even if just that scream was all that came on this record, it would be worth it. I love this. Queensryche. And here we are in September 15th. I could not do a list of 1983 without including this album, Huey Lewis and the New Sports. This was their third record. Mine is a first pressing. Man, this record was absolutely massive. Heart and Soul, The Heart of Rock and Roll, If This Is It, Walking the Thin Line, and I Want a New Drug. This album had nothing but hits. Absolutely insane, credible, just solid outing from Huey Lewis and the News. It was so good that I Want a New Drug was even stolen for Ghostbusters. That is a fun story. You should look it up. So I do have a modest collection. I feel like I show this record a lot, and there's good reason. It is a great record. September 23rd, 1983, we got Shout at the Devil from Mötley Crüe. This was their second album. Mine's an early reissue. This was a big change, especially for me. At Christmas, my uncle got me a copy of this on vinyl. Not this exact one. Unfortunately, that one didn't survive till today, and maybe part of that was because I just played the crap out of it. This is a great album. It really changed my musical taste, and I owe that all to Uncle Kelly. So, thanks, buddy. Another one from September of 1983 was the soundtrack to The Big Chill. Man, this is just packed full of Motown goodness. I've never seen this movie. I don't have any idea what it's about. But a few years ago, my little sister Maddie said she remembered listening to this as a kid. So I grabbed a copy and I couldn't believe the track listing. So I listened to it and it was awesome. So I gave her that copy and went out and bought one for myself. This is great. It's some great Motown classics. And like I said, I have no idea what the movie's about. Maybe they're just really cold. September also brought us another amazing debut from the band Dokken. Um, Technically, maybe I'm cheating on this one because it was actually released in '82, but only in Europe. We didn't get it here in the US till 1983, so that's why I'm counting it, because it is a great record. I know we got it in September, and mine is actually a first press Canadian, which is super cool. Just a little maple leaf one there. It's also a promo. Great sounding record. Great record. Kind of opened the door for Dokken, and I didn't get this in '83. I didn't find it until well after. When Under Lock and Key came out in '85, I was all about Dokken, so it was probably around then that I went and chased this down. But Dokken, breaking the chains. So many cool records came out in 1983, and we're only to October. October 14th, we got Lionel Richie, Can't Slow Down. This was his second solo album after the Commodores. Mine's just an early reissue, nothing special. This record went diamond. 10 million sold. I mean, that's just absolutely incredible. And, man, chock full of hits, too. Stuck on You, Penny Lover, Hello. Just an absolute banger. And really, really cool Lionel Richie record. This next record is Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. This record is absolutely just one of my favorites. I only own one copy. It's an early reissue. I know that kind of probably makes me not a super fan like my friend Hans. Hans actually has probably 7 copies of this record. He loves it so much. Man, this thing was incredible. There were 6 singles released off of this, especially the massive worldwide hits. Girls Just Want to Have Fun and Time After Time. Time After Time is just one of my favorite songs of all time. Really good stuff. She's So Unusual, Cyndi Lauper. October 25th, 1983 brought us John Cougar Mellencamp. This was his 7th studio album. Mine's an early reissue. This was the first one with his actual last name, Mellencamp, added. Prior to that, he was just John Cougar, and a few albums after this, he dropped the Cougar part altogether. But this one was John Cougar Mellencamp. The story goes on this one. It was written, arranged, and recorded in just 16 days. You'd never know it. It is a solid album, start to finish, with the singles Crumbling Down, Authority Song, and Pink Houses. John Cougar Mellencamp. The very next day in 1983, we got Night Ranger, Midnight Madness on October 26th. This was her second record. Mine's nothing special, just an early issue. Good stuff. This was the best-selling album from the band. It had the huge breakout single "Sister Christian," and my favorite, the rock anthem, "You Can Still Rock in America," and "When You Close Your Eyes." "When You Close Your Eyes," just a classic song. This album is significantly underrated for as good as it is. I'm just a big fan. I've always loved Night Ranger, especially the stuff Jack Blade sings. Obviously, Sister Christian was sung by the drummer. Don't get me wrong, love the song, but man, When You Close Your Eyes and You Can Still Rock in America, just fist pumping anthems. And now we're in November 10th, 1983. Billy Idol gave us Rebel Yell. Mine is a club edition, nothing special. Sounds great, though. It was his second solo record. And obviously, the title track was huge. And Eyes Without a Face, it was almost impossible to get away from that video on MTV. Just an artist made for MTV that just put out great music. Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. How can you have a list for 1983 without including the Ozzy Osbourne Bark at the Moon? This came out on December 2nd. Mine is the first pressing. This was the third Ozzy Osbourne solo record. This was the first one with Jakey Lee and the first one without Randy Rhoads. Definitely has a slightly different sound. Two excellent guitar players, but distinctly different. And Bark at the Moon is just a great album. And my dog's name is Ozzy, and this is his favorite record. And the last one for 1983 was a real easy pick for me. This is the Sharks Holiday EP. I can't find anywhere online when it was released other than 1983. This is a special edition on white vinyl after they won MTV Basement Tapes. In fact, it even says it on the hype. But the Sharks were a local band in my hometown, and I grew up I loved them. And they had moderate success. They should have been the most successful band out of Lancaster. But anyway, awesome album. And that does it for 1983. So that's it. That's 1983 for me. I painstakingly went through every record in my collection from 1983. This was a hard one to put together. So what are some of your favorites? Let them in the comments. Let me know the ones I missed. I'm sure there are some I missed. Let's continue this conversation, and thanks for watching. Another year down, 1983, all done. I hope you enjoyed this series I'm doing, and I'll have some links to some other ones, but did I pick too much metal again? No regrets.